Hey everybody, I'm Jeff Rubenstein from the PlayStation blog, and over here to my left is CJ Heine. You're up there at Zipper in Redmond, Washington. You're the lead game designer of MAG, and today we're talking the beta. So the MAG beta, we've seen a couple of stages. Where exactly are we with it?
Well, right now we're actually wrapping up the end of our exclusive GameStop beta period. But we're actually going to be creating an extension, which will be picking up tomorrow. The extension is going to be focusing exclusively on the 64-player Sabotage and the Domination 256 maps, which are something that people are pretty excited to get their hands on again. So far in the beta phase, we've been going on for about 2 weeks now, and we've had 30,000 matches played and millions of kills added. So it's been a really big success. We've had 17,000 new accounts created just for beta. It's been amazing.
So when you're talking about a beta, this isn't a glorified demo. This is something where you, in theory, are getting a lot of valuable information. So do you mind just telling people, especially those who have already participated in the beta or think about participating in the beta, what is Zipper getting out of this that's going to contribute to making MAG the best game it can be?
Well, first off, one of the things that's kind of interesting is we've gone through this whole period internally of playing the game and testing it, and we've come to our own conclusions and tuning values. And one of the things, as soon as we put it out for beta, was that some of our assumptions were just way off. Some of the weapon tuning and difficulty of certain maps and the overall balance between attacking and defending things didn't always match our expectations. So that was one of the big things we got out of beta, was being able to take some of the data. We data mine everything, so we see player routes and shots fired and what kind of kills were being made by which weapons and how effective airstrikes were being on certain maps. And we take all that back, and we're able to tune and balance things from the individual maps to kind of global things like turning up or down the overall rate of fire, the damage done by weapons, things like that. Adding and subtracting some of the health on vehicles, bunkers, turret health. There's been a whole range of things that we've been able to get out of beta, in addition to just user feedback. I mean, we read through all of the user feedback weekly, and we sort it all out, and we get it assigned to the right people. And we read it all. Some of the things are just kind of I did really bad attacking this map. Please fix this. And of course we can't always do that, but for the most part, we take all of it into account, and we try to balance where we can.
Can you talk about some, like maybe a particular instance where there was some user feedback where you specifically went and said, you know what, the audience is right here. This is something we're going to change.
Oh yeah, probably the biggest one we get feedback on is the map, Aralcom Mechanical. It's the Sever 120 player acquisition map. Sever has the easiest time defending that thing compared to the other two PMCs defending their own versions of it, and we've been making changes steadily over the course of the multiple beta phases we've had, and we've done some retuning to the front sides of these things. We've looked at the time it takes to destroy bunkers and some fine tuning on some of the turrets in order to help get attackers to where they need to be. So if you're playing through Platoon 2 of Aralcom, you'll see that you can now go underneath the docks, get down under the water. We basically get you off the high ground where you're visible much more quickly. And one of the other things that we saw was in the shot data that a lot of the attackers spend their time hanging out on one side, shooting at the defenders on the other side, and they're just shooting back and forth at each other, which is fine. We did intend for some of that to go on, but that became the predominant way to play that map, which doesn't push the attackers close enough to the bunkers to do anything about pushing that line further. So that's why we got attackers down into the water more quickly. It does force them to get back up and start bringing the assault to the bunkers. And so far, we've seen some results that we wanted to get. It's still a fairly difficult map to be attacking, and there's still some other things that we're going to be releasing in the future, like the tank trap on the bridge will be going away, for example.
Okay, so we've seen several phases of this beta so far, and it from to the outside perspective, it's changed quite a bit. But if you hadn't been in since, say, one of the earlier phases, what's one of the major changes? We've talked a lot about different tweaks and things. What are some of the major changes, maybe in gameplay or even visuals or something else that people would notice right away?
Let's see. Well, we've added the proximity chat, which, if it's working properly in the game you're in, you'll notice that. It's pretty cool being able to hear all the chatter going on from the other team. You're able to sneak in behind enemy lines, listen to them yelling at each other. It's also a lot of fun to run up on top of the guy that you just killed and yell at him and have him yell back at you. That's one of the things that players will probably notice the most. There's been a whole audio pass that it's still underway, trying to get the ranges on weapons, just everything feeling a little bit more immersive, basically. We've done a whole pass on the Shadow War. We've added in all the Shadow War bonuses and contract settings properly. So now as your PMC does really well in the sabotage or acquisition domination queues, you'll trigger these contract bonuses if you win. The first and second place PMCs will get things like experience point bonuses or cooldown bonuses on their command abilities, things like that. And so that's all in the game working properly. One of the things that players will probably notice as well that have been playing currently is that the level cap went from 40 to 60. And so players now have to put in quite a bit of time to reach the maximum level, and the payoff for that is that we've retuned quite a few of the skills in the skill trees. And so it's worth pushing through and picking up those 20 additional points for the skills.
So has anything been particularly surprising to you all at Zipper that you've seen, whether it's with player behavior or just how people are reacting to certain maps or features?
Yeah, when we play internally, we're kind of, we're all over the place. Putting the game out to beta has showed us that players are really picking up on sticking together as a squad. I mean, they're all showing the importance of the headset communication, being as vocal as you can, get your whole squad together. And probably the best thing that we've seen is just the medkit behavior. I mean, that ties in again with trying to keep your squad together. We see a lot of players running around with their medkits and reviving incapacitated players, and that's something we never really saw internally. It's something we expected, but seeing the game out in the wild where you come around the corner and there's only one guy there before and a bunch of bodies, and they bring back their entire team and you can no longer take the objective, that's been a huge game changer out in beta.
Yeah, I think from the outside perspective, one thing that people were wondering when MAG was first announced is how are people going to handle 256 players? So from what you've seen in the beta so far, they're doing that?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've only had limited runs on our domination map so far. Those are the big 256s, which people can be looking forward to playing in beta shortly. But what we're seeing right now is kind of the players needing to really communicate well to have success on those larger maps, because things are kind of frantic on those. There's a lot of players running around. There's a lot of explosions. There's a lot of damage going on everywhere. So players got to be on their toes to take all of that in while carrying out their objectives.
Okay, so CJ Heine, thanks very much for talking to us about the MAG beta. We're now, as you said, entering a new phase. We're going to have some more details and other ways to get into the beta in the PlayStation blog and the words that are down below us here, right there. And again, keep up the good work. We're looking forward to playing MAG in just a couple of months.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Jeff.